What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Got a special client interview today with my guy, Jake. Jake is a baseball coach out here actually in Arizona, and he's been in the program for the last 3 months, absolutely killing it. Don't want to steal your thunder, bro, so I'll let you go ahead, take it away. Tell me a little bit about you and what you do.
I'm Jake Sutterth, run a facility out here, PDP Athletics. Joined the program a couple months ago. Joined when I had maybe 10 guys training with us on a monthly basis. This summer I've trained about 50 athletes. Just counting in-person guys, we've had a couple more remote as well. But yeah, been growing. Just was able to start hiring. So yeah, been running a facility out here in Chandler, Arizona.
Sweet. Sweet, dude. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's been like super cool to see your success and like how you've grown. Maybe if you want to talk about a little bit, more in depth about your situation before you kind of jumped on, like you had about 10 guys.
Yeah, so when I started, kind of going in the months beforehand, so obviously high school season was just wrapping up. So I mean, we knew we were kind of missing some of the guys that we expected to have back. And quite honestly, a lot of those players didn't return that I was kind of counting on. So we kind of built everything from scratch. There's only a couple players that I'm training now that I was training before. I'd started the facility last September, really. So this has been my first year really coaching. Um, we started in September. Realistically, I was doing probably 20 lessons a week. 20 lessons a week, and then trying to cut out a couple hours here and there for a couple guys to train, and do more than just the pitching lesson, because I got tired of guys just doing the one time a week pitching lesson, to where it's like, hey, you struggle with this movement, you need more than what just this one pitching lesson can really help you do. We need to get you stronger, we need to improve your ability to move in this way. So really my goal was to push more towards training, push more towards, hey, you're going to come in 3 to 5 days a week, since we have the facility space. And then since then, been able to kind of build out full training programs, switched over to using an app to be able to make everything a lot easier. Um, yeah, really have kind of changed everything that we've done. Been able to create it to where we actually have the infrastructure needed to handle 50 guys in a day. And now I'm working with 6 to 10 athletes at the same time, seeing 30 to 40 athletes in a day, as opposed to spending 8 hours and seeing 8 kids.
Yeah, that's nuts, dude. What do you think was the biggest thing for you? Like, obviously going from most people do like 8 lessons for
Mhm.
8 hours, like kind of maybe walk through like how that transformation happened.
I think really the biggest thing for me was kind of understanding the framework on how to make content that actually draws customers, instead of how to just make content that might look good for, yeah, maybe we got more views or maybe we got more likes, but it was just kind of content that looked cool, and not necessarily content that actually helped build a customer base. So being able to understand the framework of how to do that, what is a call to action, how should we implement that, like how do we hook people into our videos, and then kind of understanding, hey, what kind of things do I really stand for? Like what kind of people should I try to market myself to best? What kind of people do I want to work with? And who can I help the most? And being able to kind of understand that first, has really kind of helped streamline a lot of the process, in terms of, now we can actually kind of pick and choose who we want to work with, as opposed to just taking anybody, and being able to say, hey, I know that, like, seeing how you move, knowing what kind of player that you are, knowing what your deficiencies are, hey, I know for a fact I can help you doing this, this, and this. And then really it becomes down to how well they perform those things. But knowing exactly, hey, these things will help you kind of transform your career, and I can give you all the tools that you need. Um, but before it was really just kind of like, hey, we're working with anybody, and a lot of them were people that doing so in a lessons format, you can't necessarily really help them change a whole lot. Um, so really, yeah, really the best thing I would say is kind of understanding the that ideal avatar, understanding the kind of people that I wanted to work with, understanding what I can help them change, and then just how to get in front of them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's been super cool. Like I know like you've really grown on social media, just like watching your like not obviously like your profile, but just like
Mm.
your understanding of what to do and how to do it. If you could maybe boil down like to the root, like maybe like one or two things that directly that like maybe I've helped you with or like my program has helped you with, like what would
Mhm.
you say that those things are?
I think having to pick one or two, definitely the framework by which we make our contents, but the framework by which we make our reels. So understanding like kind of the pieces that need to go into it to actually draw a client instead of just posting something that looks cool. Doing something that's actually going to help start that communication between the potential client. And then outside of that, I would also say really just how to actually transition that message to becoming an actual client. How to transition just that cold message or someone just following us, and helping turn them into a client as opposed to just a follower. I think that's one of the biggest areas that, quite honestly, I lacked before and just honestly had no idea what to do. We'd get messages, and I mean, it would be like, all right, yeah, here's our scheduling link if you want to book a lesson, like, and then you never hear back from them. Versus now, like I'm starting to be able to say, hey, like, let's figure out your pain points, let's attack this, and then like I almost feel like I'm going into it. Um, I mean, just reading a playbook, like it's like I've already seen how the conversation's gone. I've got it out to a script, like, and it's like, yeah, it's individualized. I'm understanding what they need, but um, like I've can just follow. Okay, I need to do this, and then I need to do this, and like it's just a step by step process, and then I can see like if they even. I can see who's a qualified lead, like see who actually wants to do something instead of wasting time with people that don't.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, it's been cool, bro. Like you've been really, really good at converting the leads that you get into paying customers. Like, um, and I know something that actually you came with like a much, I would say like deeper skill base on like training athletes and like programming and stuff like
Mhm.
maybe if you want to talk a little bit more about like how that's gone.
Yeah, really. So I had programmed for athletes. I had done a lot of training, but everything that I was doing was through Google Sheets at the time. So like my ability to train a large group of athletes, I would say would be kind of limited in terms of time before just understanding, hey, if I'm trying to go through and program like every single thing and then going to find a hyperlink for a video on YouTube, the programming aspects took so much longer before. So I've been able to kind of streamline everything that we've done on that aspect and be able to start having programs through an app to where, hey, I can build out and kind of be able to create buckets of like similar things that similar moving athletes need, and then we can kind of change individual things or individual focuses for athletes, but understanding, hey, these athletes need to accomplish this certain movement. So whatever that certain movement is, the actual demand that they have in their sport, whether that's baseball, golf, basketball, doesn't matter. What matters is, hey, this athlete needs to be able to get to this movement pattern. So program a workout that trains them accordingly. And when you do things like that, like I would say the best way to put it is when we actually train a movement pattern that is going to correlate to the sport, you don't need hyper specific programs. You need maybe a different focus for that athlete, or maybe one thing that's different kind of per program. But if we're training the actual movements and the actual demands that we're going to have in sport, we don't need every single person to have 13 different workouts.
Yeah. Dude, I think it's super cool getting to work with you because I think you have a really in-depth understanding of like how to program for specific athletes based on their problems and stuff like that. Obviously, like you've been all over the place, like been a remote athlete yourself,
Mhm.
like things like that. So I think it's been super, super, super awesome to just to see you like run with it, you know? Like
Mhm.
what I guess like what, if anything, advice would you have to anybody out there maybe who's watching this, who, you know, is like, oh, what like who is this Nick guy? Like what do him and his team do? Like what would you have to say to those people?
The biggest thing I would say is whatever you want to do out of your remote coaching business, or I mean even like in person if you have a facility, which is kind of where my situation has been a little bit different than most of the other guys that are in it. But I mean, everything still carries over, everything still blends, the concepts still apply. The concepts that you might spend 2 or 3 years to try to understand and build out yourself, you can do in 2 months. I think in that time frame, we've more than doubled our Instagram following, and it was by changing things. And it's like I would have never thought to have done things in that certain way, like understanding how to streamline. Hey, who do I actually want to work with? Who am I actually trying to target? Those are some of the biggest things that are kind of missed. um I think the just the framework and how everything is built out, so how the school platform is built out, it makes it extremely easy to follow, and it's something that you can, quite honestly, if you sit down and dedicate it, which it if you're dedicated enough to really be able to build a great online training business, you'll be dedicated enough to go through the protocol, go through the framework on how the course is, and really it'll make everything easier for you. Like you'll know exactly what you need to do. And then it comes down to your execution. Um, the only thing I would add on top of that is the group calls, which I mean, quite honestly, in the beginning, like those were really some of the most influential parts of the whole thing. It's not just, hey, here's your program and go follow it. I'll talk to you in 3 months. It's, hey, here's 40, 50 other people that are doing the same thing at the same time, all on one call, talking about their unique pain points, their unique, like, hey, I just had this happen. Like, how do I respond to that? And then it's not just you or not just Matt able to kind of talk about those things. It's 40 other people that have maybe done it already, or maybe they have the exact same pain point. So being able to talk to people in your same situation, I mean, that community aspect of things where people are, I mean, rooting on each other's success, like a rising tide is going to raise all boats. So kind of as you can see other success and kind of be able to be excited for other success, be able to help each other and not just reliant on you to help everybody, but everybody able to kind of help out in areas where they have a little bit more expertise or a little bit more experience on the topic. I think that's the most valuable part of the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I appreciate you saying that, dude. And you've really, you know, dove head first and I think really made the most of like everything that we've had to offer. I mean, Is there anything else maybe that you wanted to say that, you know, I haven't asked you or that you kind of wanted to say publicly?
I really do think, I mean, when I started everything, really like started the program, just saw an ad and, kind of just said, you know what, I've seen enough and like I know a couple people doing this that I kind of just dove in head first. Didn't bother to ask for a VSL or anything. Was just like, yeah, hey, let's get on a call, let's do this. Because I've been able to kind of see the success that other people were having. Um, but I think the fact that there is that resource and like, I mean, you're quite literally making a remote coaching business. But like that's actually what you're doing. You're just remote coaching remote coaches. So you're like currently doing what you're helping other people do. And not only that, but you've actually done it before in remote coaching because I mean, we talked about remote coaching while you were remote coaching like 2 or 3 years ago. It just happened to be towards like the tail end of my playing career, and I didn't know if I was going to end up playing again. Um, and I didn't end up continuing to play, and I started the facility. But like I talked to you in the exact circumstance that I'm now doing. So like I know you're qualified to talk about what you're doing. So that aspect of it to where knowing that you've made your own business out of this, like it helps to say, hey, this guy's done exactly what you're trying to do. It's not like he's just making this all up and like just running and saying, hey, here's a program that I don't know if it works. It's like, hey, I did this. This is what built a massive brand. And now it's what's helping 50, 60 people do the same thing too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, dude, I appreciate you so much. Seriously, I think it's been amazing to see your growth. I mean, dude, from 10 guys to like over 50 guys, like, I mean, that's like why I do this shit. So thank you for honestly being such a good client and taking this call, bro. Seriously. But
Yeah. Thank you.
absolutely. If you're watching this and you're a coach and you want to learn how Jake like had success like this, then booking a call with me or my team down below. We'll be in contact with you very soon. But we'll catch you in the next one.